We are discussing chapter number 2, which is diversity and discrimination. Diversity and discrimination. What we have seen already is what is the meaning of diversity. Sometimes people who are different from others, they may be teased, laughed at, or they are not included in a certain activity or group. Then those people will feel hurt, they may get angry, they may be helpless or sad when friends or other treat us in such a way. And have you ever thought about this, why this happens? So in this discussion, we'll try and explore how such experiences are related to the society we are living in. And we'll also have a look at how they are connected to the inequalities that exist around us. Difference and prejudice. There are many things that make us what we are. That is how we live, the language we speak, what we eat, wear, the games we play, and things we celebrate. Now, all of these are influenced both by the geography and the history of the place where we live in. And you will get an idea of how diverse India is if you look even briefly at this statement that we are going to present here. There are 8 major religions in the world, and every single one of them is practiced in India. We have more than 1600 languages that are people's mother tongues, and there are more than 100 dance forms. Yet this diversity is not always celebrated. We feel safe and secure with people who look, talk, dress and think like us, those who are like us. Sometimes when we meet people who are very different from us, we may find them strange and unfamiliar. And at these times, we may not understand or know the reason why they are different from us. People also form certain attitudes and opinions or prejudice about, or they are biased about others who are not like them. So here are certain statements on people living in rural and urban areas. You need to tick mark those that you agree with. On rural people, more than 50% of all Indians live in villages. Yes, you can tick it. Villages do not care about their health. They are full of superstition. Yes, this is true. People in villages are backward and lazy. They don't like to work, and this is wrong. People in villages, they are workaholic. They work from morning till night. In peak harvesting and plantation season, families spend 12 to 14 hours working in the field. That is what? This is the outcome of how they are workaholic. Villages are dirty and not hygienic. Now this is partially true. You cannot say this is exactly true. While on urban people, life in the city is easy. People are here are spoiled and lazy. Somewhat you can say, but people in the city, they have to work hard in order to earn their livelihood. In cities, families spend their little time with each other, and this is true because most of the time they travel. The time with the families are less. People in town only care about money, not about people, and this may also be partially true. Living in a city is expensive. A large part of people's earning is spent on rent and transport, and this is true. City people cannot be trusted. They are cunning and corrupt. Now this is partially true. You cannot say everyone is cunning and corrupt, but there may be someone or some people. So some of the statements which we saw above, that villagers are dirty, ignorant and superstitious, and see people in cities as money-minded, lazy and cunning. Now when our opinions or thoughts about certain people are always negative, that is when we see them lazy, cunning, stingy, as some of the statements which we saw here, then these becomes prejudices, and then we carry about them. This we already have in the back of our mind. So prejudice means to judge other people negatively or see them as inferior, lower than you. So when we think that only one particular way is the best and right way to do things, we often end up not respecting others who may prefer to do things differently, who may prefer to for example, if we think English is the best language and other languages are not important, we are judging these others' language negatively. But language is only the way to communicate. As a result, we might not respect people who speak languages other than English, which shouldn't be true. So we can be prejudiced about many things. People, religious belief, the color of their skin, the region they come from, and the accent they speak in, the clothes they wear. So often our prejudices or biasing about others are so strong that we don't want to form friendships with them. We don't want to live with them. At times, we may even act in ways that would hurt them. So you need to look again at the statement that you believe to be true about rural and this urban life in India. And do you have any prejudice against rural and urban people? You need to find out if this is shared by others and discuss reasons why they already have prejudices. Can you list some of the prejudices that you have noticed around them? How do they affect the ways in which people treat each other? Then creating stereotypes. All of us are familiar with gender differences. What does it mean to be a boy or a girl? Many of you would say we are born as boys or girls. It is a given. What is there to think about? I'll give you a case. We have to arrange the statements which are here in two sections according to what you think is appropriate for sections. Girls, boys, they are well behaved. Of course, girls are well behaved. They are soft spoken and gentle. Of course, girls are. They are physically strong. The boys are. They are naughty. Boys are naughty. They are good at dance and painting. Of course, the girls. They don't cry. Boys, they are rowdy. Boys, they are good at sport. Girls, they are good at cooking. Girls, they are emotional. Girls. Now, this is just some opinion I gave. But now check with your friend's help or teacher help which has put which statement where. And you need to find out and discuss people reason for doing this. Are the qualities you put in boys something that boys are born with? Okay. So if you take the statement they don't cry, you'll see that this is a quality that is generally associated with boys and men. As babies or children, when boys fall and hurt themselves, their parent and other family members often console them by saying, "Don't cry. You're a boy. Boys are brave. They don't cry." So as children grow up, they start believing that boys don't cry. So that even if a boy feels like crying, he stops himself from doing so. He also believes that crying is a sign of weakness. So even though both boys and girls sometimes want to cry, they have body, they're hurt sometime. They have heart, they have mind, they are emotional. Everyone is having sentiments, especially if they are angry, or say if they are angry, and there are the situations also, let me tell you, in some pain. As they grow older, boys learn or teach themselves not to cry, because this is what is fed to them. So if a grown boy cries, then he feels that other will either tease him or laugh at him, so he stops himself from doing so in front of others. So this is the way boys are, and this is how girls are. These are statements we hear constantly and accept without even thinking about them. We start believing that each one of us must behave accordingly. We fit all boys and all girls in an image that society creates around us, that our parents have given us, what is fed by the society. So people say all sorts of things. See, I'll just show you this. We'll revisit this diagram again. So you can take other statements also, like they are soft and gentle, or they are well behaved, and discuss how these are applied to girls only. So do girls possess this quality at birth, or do they learn such behavior from others? What do you think about girls who are not soft and gentle, and those who are naughty also? So when we fix people into one image, we create a stereotype. We make them a stereotype. When people say that those who belong to a particular country, religion, sex, race, or economic background, they are stingy, lazy, criminal, dumb, they are using stereotypes. So there are stingy and generous people everywhere, in every country, in every religion, in every group, whether rich or poor, male or female. And just because some people are like that, it is not fair to think that everyone would be like them. everyone would be same. In 10 people, if one is not humble, you cannot say other 9 may not be humble. So stereotypes stop us from looking at each person as a unique individual with his or her own special qualities and skill that are different from others. They fit large number of people into only one pattern or type. Stereotyping is all about that. So stereotypes affect all of us as they prevent us from doing certain things that we might otherwise be good at. Then we have inequality and discrimination. See, discrimination happens when people act on their prejudices or stereotypes or biasing. So if you do something to put other people down, if you stop them from taking part in certain activities and taking up jobs, or stop them from living in certain neighborhoods, prevent them from taking water from the same well or hand pump, or not allow them to drink tea in the same cups or glasses as others, you are actually discriminating against them. And discrimination can take place because of several reasons. You might recall the story which we learned about Samir Ek and Samir Do. They were different from each other in many ways. For instance, they were of different religions. They belonged to different religions. This is an aspect of diversity. But this diversity can also be a source of discrimination. Groups of people who may speak a certain language, follow a particular religion, live in specific regions. They may be discriminated against as their customs or practices may be seen as inferior. Another difference between two Samirs, Samir Ek and Samir Do, was in their economic backgrounds. Samir Do was poor, and this difference, as you have read already, that it's not a form of diversity, but of inequality. So people who are poor do not have resources or the money to meet their basic needs of food, clothing and shelter. So they experience discrimination in offices, in hospitals, schools, etc., where they are treated badly because they are poor. And some people may experience both kinds of discrimination. They are poor and they belong to groups whose culture is not valued. Tribals. Some religious groups and even particular regions are discriminated against for one or more of these reasons. So what we are going to see, we'll look at how famous Indian were discriminated. And this will help us to understand the ways in which caste was used to discriminate against large number of people. So before we go ahead, let me take you back to these pictures. The children you see here, these are the illustration. Here we see these are disabled or specially able. This term was being changed and now the term used is children with special needs. So common stereotypes about them are given in large letters. These are the large letters. Their own feelings and thoughts too are given. People say all sort of things, but I limp, I lisp, all these and more. Sometimes I feel so sad and sore. Folks make fun. It's nothing new. If you were I, what would you do? Here, you look so different. But she says, I'm a person. I feel shy. From staring eyes, I want to hide. Then, this is a girl. Is her mind okay if she's not able to do certain things? Just because my legs are wobbly, people think my mind is wobbly too. So you need to discuss about these children's, what they are saying about stereotypes regarding them and why. And do you think these children's with special needs should be a part of a regular school or a study in separate school? Give your answer. What my suggestion is, what my opinion is, they all are special. That means he or she, they are both same. If God has given us or made us like this, that doesn't mean that anyone is inferior or disabled. They all are able. God has created everyone. Everyone has special qualities, and we must respect every one of them. Just because they look different or have some sort of problem, we should not make any stereotype or make fun of them. This will be highly highly unfortunate. So, before we'll talk about some people, a common stereotype which we generally see about Muslims is they are not interested in educating girls and therefore they do not send girls to school. However, studies have now shown that the poverty amongst Muslims is an important reason why Muslim girls do not attend school or leave school after a few years. They are poor people. Muslims are poor in our country. So whenever effort have been made to reach education to the poor, the Muslim community has shown an interest in sending their girls to school. You take Kerala, state of Kerala. The distance between school and the home is not much. There is a good government bus service that helps teachers reach schools in rural areas, and over 60% of the teachers are women. These factors have helped children from poorer families, including Muslim girls, attend school in much larger numbers. In other states where such efforts have not been made, children from poorer families, whether Muslim, tribal, or so-called low caste find it difficult to attend school. Therefore, poverty, not religion, is the cause of non-attendance of Muslim girls in school. So this is the duty of the government to provide, the way the Kerala has shown entire world that it is having the highest literacy rate and most developed state in the country. The effort have to be made by the government in different states to make everyone an educated human being, educated Indian. So on being discriminated against, we were talking about that. People are engaged in different kinds of work like teaching, carpentry, pottery, weaving, fishing, farming to earn a livelihood. However, certain kinds of work are valued more than others. Activities like cleaning or washing or cutting hair, picking garbage, these are seen as tasks that are of less value, and people who do this work are seen as dirty and impure. This belief is an important aspect of the caste system. In the caste system, communities, groups of people are placed in a sort of ladder where each caste was either above or below the other. So Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, those who place themselves at the top of this ladder, they call themselves as upper caste and saw themselves as superior. They said, we are superior. The groups who were placed at the bottom of the ladder were seen as unworthy and called untouchables. So caste rules were set which did not allow the so-called untouchable to take on work other than what they were meant to do, picking up the garbage, the human excreta on their head. For instance, some group are only allowed to pick garbage and remove dead animal from the village, but they were not allowed to enter the homes of the upper caste or take water from the village well, and even enter temples. Their children would not sit next to the children of other caste in school. So Dalit, we were talking about these. Before that, we need to know about Dalit. Dalit is a term that people belonging to so-called lower castes, Shudra, use to address themselves, and they prefer their word to untouchable, achut. So Dalit means those who have been broken. This word, according to Dalit, show how social prejudices and discrimination have broken the Dalit people. The government refers to these people or this group of people as scheduled caste. So what is the difference between discrimination and stereotypes? How do you think a person who is discriminated against might feel? Of course, he will feel bad. You know, you are born in the same country, you are not getting the resources, you're not getting the education, you are being deprived of many of the resources, education, wealth. You will feel bad. So the upper caste acted in ways which do not give the so-called untouchables or achuts the same right as they enjoyed. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, one of the greatest leaders of India, shares his first experience of caste-based discrimination, which took place in 1901, when he was just 9 years old. He had gone with his neighbors and cousins to meet his father in Koregaon, which is now in Maharashtra. So he said, long did we wait, but no one turned up. An hour elapsed and the station master came to inquire. He asked us for our tickets. We showed them to him. He asked us why we tarried. We told him that we were bound for Koregaon and that we were waiting for father or his servant to come, but that neither had turned up and that we did not know how to reach Koregaon. We were well dressed children. From our dress or talk, no one could make out that we were children of untouchables. Indeed, the station master was quite sure we were Brahmin children and was extremely touched at the plight in which he found us. As is usual among the Hindus, the station master asked us who we were. Without a moment thought, I blurted out that we are Mahars. Mahar is one of the community which are treated as untouchables in Mumbai. The presidency. He was stunned. His face, this is what is happening, His face underwent a sudden change. He could see that he was overpowered by a strange feeling of repulsion. And as soon as he heard my reply, he went away to his room and we stood where we were. 15 to 20 minutes elapsed. The sun was almost setting. Our father had not turned up, nor had he sent his servant. And now the station master had also left us. We were quite bewildered, and the joy and happiness which we felt at the beginning of the journey gave way to feeling of extreme sadness. After half an hour, the station master returned and asked us what we proposed to do. We said that if we could get a bullock cart on hire, we would go to Koregaon, and if it was not very far, we would like to start straightway. There were many bullock carts plying for hire, but my reply to the station master that we were Mahars had gone round among the cartmen, and not one of them was prepared to suffer being polluted and to demean himself carrying passengers of the untouchable classes. We were prepared to pay double the fare, but we found that money did not work. So the station master who was negotiating on our behalf stood silent, not knowing what to do. So this is the content from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Writings and Speeches, Volume 12. This is edited by Vasant Moon, and this is Bombay Education Department, Government of Maharashtra. So Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar is actually considered the father of Indian Constitution and is also the best known leader of the Dalits. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar fought for the rights of the Dalit community. He was born into the Mahars caste, which was considered achut or untouchable. The Mahars were poor, owned no land, and children born to them also had to do the work their parents did. They lived in spaces outside the main villages and were not allowed into the village. So Dr. Ambedkar was the first person from his caste who completed his college education and went to England to become a lawyer. He encouraged Dalits to send their children to school and college. He also urged Dalits to take on different kinds of government jobs in order to move out of the caste system. He led many efforts of Dalit to gain entry into temples. Later in life, he converted to Buddhism in his search for a religion that treated all members equally. Dr. Ambedkar believed that Dalits must fight the caste system and work towards a society based on respect, not just for a few, but for all persons. This is Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. So, imagine we were talking about what Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar went through. So, imagine how difficult it would be if people could not move easily from one place to another, how insulting and hurtful it is to have people move away, refuse to touch you or allow you to drink water from same sources as they do. So this small incident which we just saw shows how a simple task of going from one place to another in a cart was not available for children, even though they could pay the money. All the cartmen at the station refused to take the children. They acted in a discriminatory manner. So clearly, this story shows us caste-based discrimination is not only limited to preventing Dalits from undertaking certain economic activities, but it also denies them from respect and dignity given to others. So striving for equality, the struggle for freedom from British rule also included with it the struggle of large groups of people who not only fought against the British but also fought to be treated more equally. Dalits, women, tribals, and peasants, they fought against the inequalities they experienced in their lives. And as we have pointed out, many Dalits organized themselves to gain entry into temples. Women demanded that they should have as much as right to educate or education as men did. So peasants and tribals, they fought to release themselves from the grasp of the moneylender and the high interest they were charged. So when India became a nation in 1947, early leaders too were concerned about the different kinds of inequalities that existed in Indian communities. So those who wrote the Constitution of India, a document that laid out the rules by which the nation would function, were aware of the ways in which discrimination had been practiced in our society and how people have actually struggled against this. So many leaders of these struggles, such as Dr. Ambedkar, had also fought for the right of the Dalits. So these leaders set out a vision and goals in the Constitution to ensure that all people of India were considered equal. And this equality of all persons is seen as key value that unites us all as Indians. So everyone has equal rights and opportunities, and this untouchability is seen as a crime and has been legally abolished by law. This is a picture. Women at rally demanding their rights, and this is the, these pictures are so often being seen in TV channels and newspapers. So people are free to choose the kind of work they wish to do. Government jobs are open to all people. In addition, the Constitution also places responsibility on the government to take specific steps to realize this right to equality for poor and other such marginal communities. So the writers of the Constitution also said that respect for diversity was a significant element in ensuring the equality. They felt that people must have the freedom to follow their religion, speak their language, celebrate their festival, and express themselves freely. They said that no one language, religion, or festival should become compulsory for all to follow. They said that the government must treat all religions equally. Therefore, India became a secular country where people of different religions and faith, they have, before I go ahead, these are some of the members who wrote the Constitution of India. And they have seen and they have found that whatever is going on in the present community should be changed. So, India became a secular country where people of different religion and faith, they have the freedom to practice and follow their religion without any fear of discrimination. So this is seen as the important element of our unity, that we all live together and respect one another. Though these ideals are enshrined in our Constitution, it is there in our Constitution, this discussion points out that inequalities still exist. Equality is a value that we have to keep striving for and not something which will happen automatically. People's struggle and positive action by the government are necessary to make this a reality for all of us, all Indians. So this is the first page of the Constitution that clearly states that all Indians are entitled to equality of status and opportunity, right? Justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. So this is what we need to follow. So this was the discussion about discrimination and prejudices, or discrimination, inequalities, various things we discussed. I hope that being a child yourself, when you grow up, you will not do any of such things. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.